Well, you haven't chosen a very good morning, David, because conditions are as flat as a pancake, really, and as Alan says, the band is coming up a bit, and I am struggling with you, David.
You're not as strong as normal, Alan. You're not as strong as normal, but lovely day up here. Absolutely gorgeous. Blue sky, wall to wall, more or less. But there we go. Found out what I'm wrong with the linear. Sorted that out anyway. But I'll speak in a minute. I'm a bit out of pop at the moment, as you can probably tell. Just for old JG.
Okay, mate. Yeah, no problem. Plenty of time. We got the rest of the hour to go, really, haven't we? So it's it's definitely an amplifier morning now.
Yes, without a doubt, Alan.
If Frank was on, he'd be putting his amplifier on. Morning, Frank. If you, I don't know, we're getting into that green, I'm sure.
Good morning from Fred here in the last of the summer wine.
Oh, morning, Fred. Well, it's getting up to there, isn't it?
Oh, you booming in here, Alan, no problem.
Oh, there you go, mate. Excellent.
Yeah, it's 15 over 9 here.
What's that on, the 991?
No, it's on the Kentwood CS2000.
Oh, right. Well, it's sounding good, mate.
Yeah, you're sounding good as well. Sun shining here, wall to wall.
Yes, we got it here. Yeah, it's a really good morning for me mates go for a walk this morning, so that's lovely. Yeah, right, great.
Yeah. Do you know if they still sold poached egg bands? I've just, I had 4 poached eggs and they were plastic, and I burnt them on blinking oven over.
Fred, how on earth do you burn poached eggs? Well, you're fantastic then, mate.
Yeah, I don't know, I've never seen them for a long time, Alan. Do they still make them?
Well, what they do now, mate, they got plastic cups that you can float in water, mate. I know what you mean. Oh yeah, my mother-in-law done that. Put the old poacher on with no water in. Yeah, what? Oh, you melted the plastic cups in it, did you? Oh, well done, mate.
Oh, it stunk terrible. Alarm were going off. Smoke were all over. Over to you.
Yeah, well, she managed to do all that. Yeah, chuck it out, mate, and just buy the plastic. Floating poke.
Oh, I didn't know there was something like that. You'll have to investigate, Alan. Thank you.
Carol said they're called pouches. They're called pouches, actually, Fred.
Oh, thank you. All the best to both. Thank you. I'll go fishing today, see if I can find some.
It's funny, really, because we went home base yesterday, Alan, and what should be round on the stalls in home base, having a look round, we wanted some compost, special compost. It's some of them tumble dryer balls. We had a laugh at that.
Yes, I didn't catch good morning to Fred. I didn't catch what it was, Alan. Say again.
It's the tumble dryer balls.
Oh, right. The old tumble dryer balls, yes. I've never seen any, Alan.
No, well, there was £5.75 for 2. Well, it just made me laugh, that did. So, there you go. Well done, Fred. I'll tell you what, Fred, I'll give you an house point this morning for burning them.
I think I deserve it. I must have had them, 30 years, maybe more. 4 plastic cups in the metal string, you pop them into these little holes in this aluminium surround, and then the pan with water underneath, And what I was doing, it's bin morning this morning. I was trying to put my shoes on and go and take the bin out. We live in a courtyard, and there is supposed to come in the courtyard because they've knocked one of the pillars down where there used to be a gate across the entrance to the courtyard, and it was solid stone. and they had to reverse into the courtyard, and one of the chaps broke this, and now they've told them not to come in. So we've got to leave the bins out to the entrance to the courtyard, and I was asking to do that before they came, because sometimes they come very early. And I was trying to do it, and I'd left the pan with the gas on, and I kept smelling something while I was after around putting my shoes on to go out. Anyway, Molly beat me to it, she got there, and when I come to look, there was nothing left. It had just melted the plastic cups completely, and the smell and smoke. It's tremendous, Alan, all it.
I know, mate, we've been there. It happens, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, there you go, mate. It's all good fun, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, yeah, if you don't have an accident now and again. You don't live in real land if you don't have an accident, do you?
Oh, that's very true, mate. That is, yeah.
Anyway, chaps, I just heard you there at Horizontal Net, Jeff running it, and I could hardly hear him, so I thought I'll move on and see if there's anybody else about. So I'll have a skid on 2 meters now on 145 400. So I wish you all the best, everybody on the frequency. So back to you, Alan, for us final.
Okay, Fred, yeah, well, thanks for calling in and giving us a laugh anyway. Cheers then.
Cheerio, Fred. G0D, all right. Yeah, all the best there as well. Good on, mate.
Morning, Derek. It's a very bad morning this morning, Derek. Over to you, over.
I think it's only about 40 at the moment, but it's a nice, bright, sunny day.
I'm 40 over 9, am I?
No, I'm sorry, I was just looking at the temperature, which is 10 degrees, Alan.
Oh, yes, we got 10 here and bright sunshine, Derek, yeah.
Anyway, how are you today? Is everything okay, your end?
Yes, mate, we went for a blood test, that's all we went for, yes. I'd missed it, it's supposed to do it in February, you see, so I took the bull by the horns and did a fasting one yesterday and went down and that's all it were, mate, yeah. It's not very good signal this morning, Derek, over?
No, it's not as strong as usual, is it? Red usually is about 0 and 9, but it was only 8. So maybe conditions will look up a little bit as time goes on. But there we are. Yes, not too much to report from this end. The kids are coming by now to school. Looks as though there's one of the kids is waiting for probably a girlfriend, I should think.
Go on, Al, give them valves some work.
Yes, good morning, Derek. I'm not copying very well. You're right on my noise level at the moment, but Alan, you come up to that's for the first time this morning you hit a 9.
Yes, you're 10 over now, mate. You're back normal.
Well,
Good morning, Alan.
Yes.
It's a beautiful morning here anyway, and it was really nice yesterday. I've just been listening on the radio to what must have been an incredible shutdown by Barcelona last night. Caused 56 goals and that.
Did you get that, Al?
no, I didn't. Derek's you're right on my noise level.
He said Barcelona gave quite a good comeback, mate. You'll have to wait a bit to talk to Al while the conditions perk up, Derek, over. Over to you, Derek.
You're 5 over 9 now. I did see it on the news this morning, Derek, if you're copying me.
I take it you're listening, Martin?
Oh, yes, I'm listening. Yes, good morning, all. G1 J2C standing by. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning, Martin.
Morning, Martin. Well, everybody's come up a little bit now from when I first switched on. It was dreadful at first. I'm struggling with Alan and definitely struggling with Derek. But you've all come up a little bit. Got the pH high in, but yeah, things are sounding better. Yes. Well, I'm copying you quite well this morning, Martin, as well, considering the conditions. They have improved since we came on, but I've got to say, things are pretty poor. I checked 20 metres this morning. That's as flat as a pancake. What's my report down your end, Alan?
Martin's asking what the signal strength is down Swindon, Alan.
You name it, you're anything. Averaging out about a 7 at the moment. Okay, thanks for that, Alan. Yeah, you're currently a 9. You were a 7. So yeah, you've improved definitely. Oh yes, see, you've come up to an 8 now. So no, it's perfectly Q5. It's Derek. I'm not copying very well.
All signals a lot straight up there, not a signal's elbow, don't they?
They certainly are, Dave.
I'm on the 902 now. I've switched off my over rig and the amplifier and come up to the 902.
You must be copying him a bit better now, Al.
No, surprisingly, David, you're still not very strong with me.
You see, it's the valves, mate. They ain't warmed up yet. That's what it is.
It's not as strong as Alan has this morning, Alan.
Oh, funnily enough, Dave, you're only just hitting 20 over. Well, mind you, Martin ain't 40 over like he normally is. So it's just conditions. I'm sure it is. Somebody talk.
What could we say?
Well, we could say about the budget how wonderful it was.
Just start.
Well, we've something to talk about. God blimey. I see he's put 35 pence on cigarettes, Al. God blimey, O'Reilly, that's a big lump, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite huge, isn't it, for the smokers?
Really is. That should really cut it down a bit, I think. Well, they always seem to find the money, but God blimey.
Yes, our older son isn't very pleased because he's self-employed. And they put up the insurance contributions, I believe.
Yes, that's right, Derek, they are, yeah. Did you watch the budget, Dave?
I watched it and I went straight through it. I must have went straight when he was saying about cigarettes. I never heard about cigarettes for a drink. So that's how it's was, I thought so.
Oh, right, yeah, I meant to watch it, and of course I got to, I forgot all about it. We don't watch telly midday, you know. So we watched it on the news, really, and that's shortened version, isn't it, really? So, yeah. I see the people that do tax avoidance, he's going to clobber them, so, oh dear.
Yeah, I would like to watch more than Question Time on a Wednesday. I think that's one of the best comedy shows on the planet, to be honest.
See, like I say, I don't watch it midday, so I'll miss out on that comedy show.
Well, we chat about the time we sit down and make dinner lunch, so it's not nasty.
Yeah, right. I was just saying, I'll fix the old Manson power supply, Dave. It was the transistor driving the fan that had gone down to deck that was giving us all the aggravation. So I've been using it on 2 meters with Martin, so we're well pleased. Well, I'm pleased just as much as anybody else.
Well, I wasn't there yesterday. You know, Olivia went off yesterday. So when I finished talking on the radio, I was having the car. And I found out, God knows how long it's been broken. Because this connection is very dull. It wasn't a bright break. It wasn't new. Only one of the relays, the coax going to the relay, had come off. The connection was broken. So that's what caused the problem yesterday. So what I did, I took these two relays out. They're in a metal case. And I took them out. And I had the relays clean the contacts and put them back together. And then I rewired them. And that's when the fun begins, because there's 24 connections on the two relays between these cases. And there's 0.1 500 volt capacity in that connection to the case. Then you've got 7 wires connected to the different connections on these two relays. Then you've got a piece of wire connected to 2 relays on 4 connections. Then one really got to get, because you've got 4 about 45 diameter coax cables that go to 4 other connections. All that time it's been quite exciting, because there's no room to move.
My word, David, you've come up to 15 overnight.
Well, you'll come up to I know that. You're over an hour, mate, sorry.
Barbara, you did have fun yesterday then, mate, didn't you?
Well, yes, I'll tell you what, there's a shop where you need 3 hours. It's very difficult, because you try, when you've got coax cables, you try to get it in a small place. You can't hold it with the place you want it. You can't, trying to solve it. Oh, it's very difficult, actually. It's not difficult, but it was very awkward, I should say.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, of course they don't bend very easy, like these heavy-duty wires in this power supply, really. So, Derek and Alan, how are you receiving each other?
Very well indeed, now.
Now, I'm struggling with Derek, and I'm struggling for David for some queer reason.
I'm not normally that low, am I, Derek? Alan, let's have a look, see what we're putting out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Not putting any power out much. Let's find out more. Hold on.
Right.
Because the signals have suddenly gone down again.
Oh, well, it's the old QSB, ain't it? Yeah, definitely, this morning.
Well, you're running up to a 9, Alan, and David is about 5 or 6 F points down on you.
Yeah, well, of course, he ain't putting out a lot of power, so although he's on the 902, I bet he ain't got it tuned up right, is he? There you go. He'll come back like a ton of bricks in a minute.
Well, it's all right having these valves, so you've got to treat them properly, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, you are, mate, yeah. I think how you ought to put them old valves back, because look what you do to conditions when you put the new valves in.
Yes, it's pretty rubbish, Alan. You're strongest by a mile of everybody at the moment. No Roy this morning.
I'm in and out.
Oh, yeah, he's a shortwave listener.
Yes, good morning, Roy.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I've been in and out. I'm doing my job. I've got waiting for the cleaning lady, and I've also got the car going in for MOT, so I'm a busy little boy this morning. G4GCQ.
Are you taking the car in for MOT then?
No, they'll come and collect it, Alan.
Oh, so what are you doing about? What are you messing about with that for then?
I've got to get it out, empty the bits and pieces and clear the rubbish, and take the money out.
There's all yesterday was untouched, mate. There's all today as well.
Oh, my
Don't
word,
do
I've
it
got
when you're on the air in the morning. Goodness gracious, what's up with you?
nothing up with me.
Not much. I'll tell you what, we'll have to send you for a blood test. That'll sort you out. I'll even show you a needle.
When are you going to get the answer to yours? See if they found any.
They found some, all right. The nurse phoned me yesterday, actually, to say that she'd booked me in for a review, Al, and it was on the 29th of March when I've got the dentist and then Park and also I've got 3 appointments on the same day.
Well, you're a busy chap.
I'll get it all done in one day, won't I?
Hey, tell me something, Alan.
Over?
When did you work VK3 Oscar Juliet?
That's a good question, that one is. I haven't got a clue.
Well, I looked last night on the EQSL. You have about 20 or 30 QSL cars. There's one from VK3OJ of note. There's another one from VP8LP, Bob. There's a couple from Cyprus, 5 Bravo 4 Alpha India X-Ray, and also 5 Bravo 4 Alpha India X-Ray Portable, and about 20 or 30 others.
Oh, right, must have been when I was frigging about with this radio or the other one at some stage. Yeah, I don't remember doing it, but there you go. I made a note of EQSL. I must have a look myself.
Well, you perhaps it'd be interesting to have a look for you. If you put into Google EQSL, and you'll get a black, when you click, there'll be a black screen come up, and there's help. If you click on help, you'll get another screen where you can put your call sign in, and you can check and see how many cars are waiting for you there.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I'll do that then. It'll be interesting, yeah. I'll bet it was probably a few years ago, I'll bet.
Well, just remember, put in EQSL into Google, and the list will come up. Then take the one that I can't remember what it is now, EQSL dot something or other, and the page that comes up, there'll be help right at the bottom of the menu. You can't miss it. And then the next page that comes up, you can pop your call sign in the top left-hand corner, and you can see what cars are waiting there. So just have a look, it's quite interesting.
Right, okay, I'm just making a note of that, yeah.
Right, how does that sound? I think that's a bit better, David. So do I. Do you know what it was?
Go on then.
Elbow connector.
Really? Oh, yeah?
Not another one. Yep, another one. The bloody things I've bought from, you know where.
Oh, say it, Moonraker.
Well, you're 5 and 7 now, so you were the same signal as Alan on the last over. Yeah, that's what it was. The relay. Sorry, what am I talking about? Elbow connector. They're terrible things, honestly. I'm going to bin every one of them.
Yeah, you're 25 over 9 now. Back to the normal sort of strength, you know, on ground wave that you normally are in the morning.
Yeah, well, they're really speaking up. On this output meter to 10 watts out. That's the maximum I'll put it out.
Yeah, right. I changed over to the manual tuner this morning because the conditions were so bad, and it just gives me that little bit of an edge, and there's absolutely no SWR showing whatsoever. How's he with you, Martin?
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. I was I was looking at EQSL actually. I've got to this help page, but I can't see where to put in my call sign. Go again, Dave. Give us an over, and we'll see what your signal's like.
Okay, I'll give you another over. Speaking up now, it's doing well now. Before, it was only reaching 10 watts out. The SWR is absolutely zilch. It's not showing any movement at all. It was just that elbow connector on the back of the linear. I took both leads off and put a connector in between the leads, cut the linear out, and it's perfect. So, there we go.
Yeah, you're peaking at a plus 40, Dave, back to where you usually are. No problem.
Yeah, so you...
Placed at Earl's Park market. They sell, I suppose they sell connectors, don't they?
Earl's Park? Well, I don't know, mate. I've not been over there for a long time. I didn't know there was anything there.
Well, where is it? Burton Lateral? No, Earl's Park, isn't it? At Sixfield, somewhere down there.
Oh, you're thinking of Billing, aren't you? Crow Lane Industrial Estate. Yeah, they do sell angle adapters, Dave, but they look like the same ones to me. In the pictures, they look like the same ones from Moonraker. But yeah, I've got plenty of good ones if you want one, mate.
No, what I'll do, I'll send some on the internet then, because I can get some of the solid ones on the internet. These things that they're made in 3 parts, aren't they? The screw, the right angle, and then the connector. So that you can turn them round any direction you want, which is no good. They want to be solid, not sense stuff.
Yeah, right. You have got to be careful of them. I mean, I've had a dodgy one and then changed it to a different SO239, but there you go.
Well, I took a load back to them a little while back, given them back, and they changed them, but these are just as bad.
Yeah, right. Well, that's no good.
I've got the internet, and they are definitely better on it. They're very robust. But funnily enough, I came across a thing the other day where I wanted to join 2 cables together, and I've got a centre, a female-female adapter, and I don't know whether they made them too small or what, but I couldn't tighten the plugs up on them.
You can't because the threads are different.
And I was saying that and all.
Yeah, that's the trouble with some of these connectors. They're PL259s, but the really screwing's different, and you can't. That's what a lot of them right angles were. They wouldn't tighten up because the threads are different size to the threads on your connector.
Yeah, that's right. It goes tight, and of course you can't pull them any further on, and it's not. The plug's still loose, isn't it?
That's right. That's the problem.
You know what they say, a bad workman always blames his tools.
Thank you, Al.
I think it's something to do with that new soldering iron if you want to say this.
Oh, that's working a treat, that is. That's the best thing that's working at the moment. Thank goodness.
Well, it keeps us on the toes, doesn't it? I mean, if it were all plain sailing, it'd be boring, wouldn't it?
No.
I've got one of the little gas-filled soldering irons. I think they're excellent.
Yes, they're very handy, aren't they?
I've got one, Derek, I've got one of those when I go outside to do aerials with, because the others don't work very well outside, do they?
Well, exactly, yes. Yeah, they're about the only way of getting a decent heat up, aren't they, really, outside?
What I did with my feeder, you see, I fetched it down, detached the centre, and brought it round into my hut, so it was sheltered from the wind.
Well, that's a good way of doing it, anyway, yes.
So I used to use a small blow lamp until then, but you know, a gas torch. But I bought one of these soldering irons, and then I gave that to my son because I'll tell you what they use them for. He does double glazing, and they use them to put the wax in the double glazing joints, and they are like a flat blade, and it smooths it out quite well. So I bought him one, and he uses that quite often.
Oh, that's really.
I didn't realise they use that technique.
Anything that's wrong, it always it like smooths the wax into the connect into the hole or whatever it is.
Yeah, and of course you've got no electrical connections there. You can just fire it up anywhere, can't you?
But that's right, when you're on a roof or building on a scaffolding or something, yeah.
Of course, if you're on a building site, you've got to have 110 volt. Oh, blimey, O'Reilly.
But I'll tell you what, this soldering iron I've got now, it's really good one, it really does work well.
You did have a bit of aggravation with that, but you got good service, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the one I bought to start with wasn't, it was cheaper one than this. It hadn't got the digital readout and that. But, I mean, that only worked for about half an hour. I rung him up, he said, well, I'll send you another one. I said, well, before you do, can I swap it for a dearer one? He said, yeah, of course you can. So I went for this one. And it's great. I mean, it's a Weller. It really does work well. But you're ever so good. I'll bet that you and Loki too. You're ever so good. You sent it by 24-hour delivery, so it'll be the next day.
Yeah, good one, yeah. Was to get a bit of service, really, at times.
Alan in Swindon. I'm on the help page from EQSL. Do I have to register, or can I just put my call sign in somewhere and see if I've actually got any QSL cards there, Alan?
Yeah, so if you're in and you've clicked on help, if you go to look at the top left-hand corner, there's a slot to put your call sign in. Go ahead.
Top left-hand corner. No, I can't see one on here. I'll have to have a better look later on then, I think. I've got log in and register, but no, can't see anywhere to put my call sign in, mate.
Yeah, but if you clicked on the help at the bottom there, Martin.
Oh yeah, I got to the black page and found help and clicked on that. I'm now on the blue page with lots of FAQs and stuff like that.
Right. Well, yes, there's loads of things down there, but in the top left-hand corner, there's definitely a slot to put your call sign in. So, let's just review that. So that's EQSL website, help menu, and go to the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, still can't see one, but I'll have a look. While I'm not talking, I'll have a look to see what's there. But, it's either very small or my eyes are getting bad.
But there's definitely help at the bottom of there's some options there. At the top there's somewhere to log in, and at the bottom of some options there is help. That's definitely there, is it?
Oh yeah, as I say, I got past that first page, Alan, when I clicked on help, and I found a page full of FAQs, but I can't see anywhere to put the call sign in.
Right.
Other than register or log in.
Well, that's strange. Don't get that. We're obviously on a different page, Martin. I'm sure if you keep playing around, I'm sure you will find it.
Yeah, I'll have a look later on, Alan. Yeah, don't worry about it. But, yeah, be interesting to have a look at least.
Yeah. I was just playing around last night, and I thought, I know, Alan was on about QSL cards. I thought, I wonder if he's got any in QSL. And I looked at David as well, G4LJG, and you got loads, David.
I've got loads of QSL.
Yes, in EQSL.
Martin, if you're looking at the page, the top left, there's a high gain antenna rotator, yeah?
Yes, Al, yes. My kids have actually just decided to drop out. I've got to wait until it's reconnected now. But yeah, I'll go back to that. We'll go back to that. Yeah. Funny old internet this, just as soon as they want me to renew it, they decided to encourage me by causing it to drop out every so often.
Yeah, what did you say, Alan, after Alan come on top of your cup of coffee about QSL cards?
So, yes, I was saying, you've got a whole big list there, David, on the QSL website of QSL cards. Have you found it, Alan?
Yes, mate, I'm just typing my call sign in.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting. Well done.
I've never been on that site, to be honest, Alan.
Oh, right. Well, I'm a member. You have to be a member to send QSL cards, but that's very easy. And it's a very convenient way of QSLing if you just want to get into that sort of thing, which you know I do. I was just checking to see if you guys had any QSL cards waiting. Have you got your list, Alan?
No, it came up saying you're not registered.
Yeah, but below that, it says check for cards.
Oh, right, okay.
Did you not spot that? Below where it says that,
no.
It says check for cards or something, and if you click on there, your list will pop up.
Oh, right, okay.
Anyway, I've obviously started something. I said, David, if you type into Google EQSL and go to their website, and then do what I've just said, shall I repeat it again? When the front page comes up, go to Help, and you'll get a page to put your course. You'll get a page up of all sorts of different things, but in the top left-hand corner, you can put your call sign. So you put your call sign in and check it for OK, and then you'll get what Alan gets, which says you are not a member. But below that, you can actually check to see if there are any cards there waiting for you. So it's just an interesting little exercise.
Yes, it's a very small box underneath there. I might expand the window. I'm on my phone, actually. And yes, it works.
I'll have a look in a few minutes. I've just switched the computer on. Ain't Roy about this morning?
Yes, he's in and out, mate. He's very busy.
Oh, I see. I'll have a look at that in a minute, Alan.
Well, yes, it's just a bit of fiddling around. I just sort of play, because I'm a member, so, you know, I do QSL via EQSL, which is quite convenient and easy. But I've obviously got you all interested now.
I'm also a member, Alan, but I haven't used it for a year.
Yes, I checked yours, but you're a member anyway, aren't you, Derek?
That's right, yes. But I haven't checked it for about a year.
Oh yeah, VP8 LP, Falkland Islands I've got.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, weren't it? It don't say the date though, does it, Al?
No, but it will do. When you become a member, all those will be in your inbox, and you'll be able to see the QSL cards, and you'll be able to see the dates and the reports, etc., the band, etc., and the QSL. But before you can do that, you have to make your own QSL card up, which you can do I'm sure Carol could manage that very easily from the menu.
Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. How about you? How done it, Martin?
I have done it at last, yeah. I've got about 7. I can actually remember the call signs of some of them, so I shall have to look into this further now, but thank you for that, Alan. That's very interesting. I didn't expect to have any, so there you are. Yes, I didn't copy that. You've gone down with me, Martin.
He just said thank you for that. He'd got about 7 now.
Oh, right. Well done, Martin.
Hey,
yeah, Alan's gone way down with me as well this time. It is still up and down, isn't it? It's been good for a while, huh?
Hey, back with us, Roy.
I've been here all the time now.
You don't answer.
Well, you've been calling me. I've been listening intently because some years ago, Alan did in fact look at mine and sent me a printout of what, it must have been 50 or 100, wasn't it, Alan?
Yes, there were quite a few, Roy, I remember. I didn't check yours last night, but they're obviously all still there.
I tried to play with my tablet, but I'm not good at that, as you know.
Yes.
Practice makes perfect. You ain't got nobody to prompt you, that's the trouble.
I go round in circles mostly. But I made some notes, I'll have a play.
Yeah, right. Hello, Chris. You're not very strong, but a terrible morning you called in G4LGF, G4PPWO. Yeah, well, you come up over a 9, then went down to an 8. That's quite good, actually. How do you receive him, Aloha?
Right on my noise level, I'm afraid, Chris. I'm not copying very well.
Oh, so it would seem to be a long skip then, Chris.
Everybody's going to struggle with me, so I'll just wish you good morning and perhaps we'll wish you another morning.
Well, I can remember working Falklands.
I'm going back to G4 PPW.
Okay, I'll come in over the top there a bit, but yeah, how are you getting him, Dave?
Oh, I'm copying him 100%. Good morning, mate. Yeah, I'm copying 100%. Not that strong, but 100% copy. That's the main thing. The Falklands, well, I haven't worked the Falklands for years, to be honest. Last time I worked the Falklands was when the invasion, when the problem was there. So I said I've been since I worked out for there. But look, Alan, I've got loads of cars then on that EQSL. I'll have a look at that sometime and might join it. But there we go. G4LJG.
Yes, well, when you got nothing to do and you're just doodling around and not very interested in what's on the television, it is interesting, but it's very easy to become a member, and then of course you can reply to, but then you have to make yourself up a QSL card, And the selection, if you're a non-paying member like me, is fairly basic, but it works, it's fine. And then you can reply to all those cards.
7-3, everyone. How'd it go? Mighty Mike.
Hello, 7-3, right? Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
So, it's Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting to see where actually some of the stations that I had worked. I didn't realise, forgot about some of them, to be honest, but I haven't collected a QSL card for 25 years or more. Not since I've been in this house, anyway.
Well, it's free. You can pay and become a gold member or a silver member or a bronze member, but I don't pay, and lots of people don't. But then, if you pay, you can have a better looking QSL card, but I don't think it's really worth it as long as you can send it. Anyway, it's something that interests me, but I know you lot aren't too interested in QSL cards. But it's just nice to have a doodle when you're you know, in the lounge and not enjoying the television too much.
Yeah, well, that is a good idea, actually. Are you still with us, Derek? Disappeared anyway. Oh dear. Yeah, well, interesting now. Yeah, especially being I can get it on the phone very easy. So I'm chuffed this morning, Al, that I beat Martin to it. Over. You know, Martin.
You did, mate. You did, yeah. What was I going to say? I've noticed I got one from the Special Event Station in Belgium, which was to commemorate the Great War. And I'd forgotten about that one. I did put it in my logbook. It's very interesting. I'm going to look into it a bit more when I've got time, and maybe even join, seeing as you can do it for free. And Chris, by the way, was a 5 and 9 at one point. Beautiful signal, and then the QSB got in with me, so it's a bit doubtful again now, but there we go.
The last time I collected QSL cards, they were the ones I collected. The only ones I ever kept are the Royal Naval ones, because they were all different ships, and I've got loads of them that I collected years back. But they're all Royal Navy QSL cards.
Oh right, yeah. I don't. I give up, paper cards ages ago. I'm still got a load actually, but that's as far as that goes, really.
You see, everybody who's in the Royal Naval Amateur Radio usually has a ship on the QSL card, and 90% of the time they're all different. So it's quite good, because it goes. Some of them I've got go right back to the original Art Royal and ships like that.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I've still got all my I've still got all my shortwave listener QSL cards here, and they go back to like 1956, 1957, 1958. So I've still got all those as well. So I do tend to hang on to them. Anyway, I'm going to wish you all 7-3s. Have a good day. And now then, let's get this straight. It's Thursday today, isn't it? So I will see you in the morning. 7-3, and we'll see you further down. G3W here.
Well, thanks for coming on, Al. First thing, mate. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I came on, Alan, because I had to get up for a pee, so you're lucky.
God blimey. Oh dear, fancy telling me that. Yeah, excellent, mate.
What are you doing, David, now on anything?
Yes, we shall be on our way down to my old mate for a walk down onto the valley there, and have a natter with them this morning. The missus going Peterborough with a mate, so I shall be on my own, mate, today.
Oh, I see. Les went to Peterborough the other day with my cousin. So, there we go. But, yeah, I'll probably go up the club for an hour or so later on. I shan't shoot, but I'll probably just go up there and have a nappy, you know, get me out.
Oh yeah, it gets you out, doesn't it? I mean, it's like my old mate there. Well, in fact, I was walking down the street yesterday and bumped into him, and he on about kitchen lights, so I went down and done that.
Well, I tell you what, I think actually I've done too much yesterday, lugging this amplifier around, turning it one way and then the other, you know. I mean, turning it over and what have you. And I was absolutely shattered last night. I went to bed about 9:15.
Yeah, well, it gets me at times like that. I was struggling actually, Martin, to stay up at 10 o'clock, but then when 10 o'clock come, I'll load it up a bit, mate.
Well, yeah, you sounded quite dirty last night. I didn't think you started yawning until near the end. Yeah, well, I've got a little shopping list today, and Marilyn doesn't get home lunchtime, so I've got to walk the dog. But I'm going to get the hedge antenna down and have a play with back barrels and stuff like that, and make a start on building that homebrew window. So that's what I've got in mind today. Whether that all works out, I don't know. It remains to be seen, but we're going to give it a try.
Okay, mate, yeah. Well, just for your information, Chris, Marty was on about his edge antenna. He's got a hedge side of his house, side the field. He weaved a antenna in the edge sort of halfway up. And it works for low noise. He's going to convert it into a Wyndham because, again, he got a 4-to-1 balance from Fred. And see how he gets on with that, mate. So there's lots of ways of doing it. Anyway, good. I suppose I don't know what to say, ta-da, really. No one's having a word. Good morning to you then, Chris. Good morning. Blimey. I think the QSB took him right out. Okay, good morning then, Martin. Morning to you, Dave.
Yeah, morning out. I think Chris was there, but I don't know what to say. The QSB got him. I thought I could hear something, so I'm not sure. So I'll take your machine to take them through to everybody's still there. I sort of lost track a little bit. Yourself and Dave, definitely. So we'll catch you all tomorrow morning, all being well. So if you want to change any speed, if you are there.
Yeah, okay, I'll call in. Now, I didn't get a chance to look, so I've got my hands at the back of the linear. I was taking the right hang was off at the back of it. Throw them in the bin, I think. Anyway, 735 to see another day. Chief Well, JG.
Yeah, okay, mate. Well, of course, if you want a test this afternoon, I'll better. Well, you give me a bell on my mobile, really, and no doubt I can be about. Okay, cheers, mate.
Hello, mate. No, I shan't be testing any more Chepstow radio today at all. I might nip up the club.
Yeah, okay. Good idea, mate. Cheers, Chris. If you near me, G4PPW2RT.
If you want one of those line angles, Dave, I'll certainly get one over to you.
No, don't worry, Martin. I'll go straight into the back of the rig for the minute, and I'll send some. I want about 10 actually altogether, so I'll probably send 4 and get them on eBay, mate.
Yeah, well, if you get the ones I've got, I think they're brilliant. I think I got 10 for around 20 quid or something like that. I can't remember now, but came all the way from China, of course, but they're really nice ones. So, yeah, have a good day anyway, mate.
Yeah, okay, Martin. Well, the trouble is with these things, you see, one piece is pressed into the other. The piece of the male part is pressed into the female part, and you can turn it round. They're so loose, mate. That's the problem. They're useless bloody things. But still, there we go. The ones with a solid body is the one you want. Anyway, that's bit late now, isn't it, after I got these, but share no more, nothing else off them. 34LJ good.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers after the QRT now.
Got a lot of buzzing come up, haven't they? Sit down, mate.
GW3NWS, calling and listening. CQ80, CQ. CQ80, CQ, CQ80. CQ, CQ80. CQ80, CQ, CQ80. Calling CQ80, CQ, CQ80. CQ, CQ80, CQ, CQ80. GW3 November Whiskey Sierra, GW3NWS. Calling CQ, CQ80. CQ80, CQ, CQ80. GW3NWS, calling and listening.
Glenn, you worked in Australia as well this morning on 2 meters, didn't you, Glenn? Even though he didn't know about it. Anyway, enough of that. On to you, Glenn, I think it is, from GW4XSX, wishing you all a very good morning. Have a good day.
Cheers, Mike. In regards to Lady Tovey, I heard her dulcet tones in the background there. There we are. Yes, worked Australia on 2 meters this morning. I gave Mike a call, and Mike had got the rig on while he was talking to VK, so there we are.
The lovely system at 20 are the only ones that will cover that particular band. The conventional ones like Cat Green and uses that software tend to ignore that band, don't they? So he needs to convince one of his neighbours to put a Kiwi SDR system on in Brisbane, and then we might have a chance. I don't know about the legality of such things, to be honest. I don't tend to think it would agree with our licence conditions at the moment, but never mind. Right, what are we up to? I pass it over to Stuart. Yes, we were struggling a little bit, Stuart. We may have to say goodbye, to be honest, if things don't improve, because I only just managed to copy you on the last over. So let's just see how signals are doing now. So over to you, Stuart, anyway, from G0GSR. Hope you're copying okay.
N0GSR, Mike 1 AWX. Well, I've got you. There is a lot of noise coming up, and it's getting more difficult. And the temperature's not going up here either, I've noticed. I think there's a possibility the fog could be lifting a little. That's about the only good news there. G0GSR, Mike 1 AWX.
Yeah, that was a bit better that time, Stuart, so we will persevere, but I'll pass it around to you, Dave, anyway. M0SBZ from G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger, G0GSR, Mike 0 Sierra Bravo Zulu, returning to the group. Yes, okay, well, as regards to whether it's legal or not, I've got a feeling that it might be. It might be legal to do that, because we would be transmitting on 80 meters and being picked up by the web system. and Daz will be transmitting on 27 megs and being picked up by a local sort of SDR system to him. And I've got a feeling that cross-band communication is legal, providing that you all transmit on the respective frequencies, Frank. I don't know whether you think that's true or not. G0GSR, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sure you're right, Dave. I'm sure you're right. I think our license only restricts us as to what frequencies we actually transmit on. It just concerned me that the content of the message section of the license, which I must check, about messages may only be addressed to other licensed stations. I don't know. I'd have to check that, Dave. Anyway, but I'm sure it's no big deal, Dave. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I think it would be acceptable. I don't think we would might be bending the rules a little bit, but I don't think these rules and regs were written when the web SDR systems were available. So maybe, oh goodness gracious, maybe Ofcom's going to update everything and make the rules and regs even more obscure and strange, like the call sign should be given at convenient times or something, whenever it's convenient. Dear oh dear. Anyhow, sun's disappeared now, so it looks like I spoke too soon. Today I've got to go out a little bit later on, which is unfortunate because I'm expecting the postman to arrive. So I don't know whether to go out or wait for the postman. I know what's going to happen. I'll wait in all day for the postman, and at the last minute I shall go out to do the things I need to do, and he will arrive about 10 minutes after I leave the house. So Murphy's Law will apply. Okay, let's see if so it's me, Peter. Round to you, Peter. MW0GYV in the group, M0SPZ.
MW0GYV returning to the group with a bit more compression on, so hopefully it's not too stark. There we go. Yeah, I think you're right, Dave, about split frequency operation. So yeah, I've spoken to Spaniards on 60 meters, and they can't actually operate in our band. So you have to operate split. So we transmit on our frequency and they transmit on theirs. And obviously, well, that's legal. So obviously they are amateur radio guys. And I'm not sure, you're not allowed to have communication on the amateur bands with, for example, Italians who are transmitting illegally. So I'm not sure if they've got 60 meters yet, but before they had it, I think I might be warming up the amplifier. It just tripped out. But anyway, that's another thing. So, like you, Dave, I'm waiting for the postman, but I don't really have to wait. I'm waiting on a bridge rectifier. I'm repairing a friend's power supply, which went belly up. And I've been chasing for ages to bring it round, and he hasn't done. Anyway, I took it apart yesterday, and the big bridge rectifier is broken. It's not actually open circuit. It's closed circuit on to the negative. So obviously from the AC side. So it was only giving out about 6 volts with 19 volts in, and obviously no regulation. It's a Daiwa PS304 340. I forgot which way round it was. But I just wired up a temporary bridge rectifier, and it seems to be working now. So I just need one with a decent current rating. So the one that was in it was only rated at 20 amps, and the power supply was rated at 30 amps. It's never been apart, so that seems strange. When I looked up on the web, it seems as if that's a common fault. Anyway, I've ordered one with a 35 amp rating, and we'll put that in when it comes. Hopefully it'll come today. It's supposed to come within 24.
Say they couldn't find a parking space and you went in early. I think you mentioned that yesterday, so that's all good anyway, Alan.
Ed?
Quite agree with you on that one. Leave what's working, leave well alone. Because I've been trying to get, I did get things improved on that engine I was telling you about the other day, the 3HP bridge, and it just would not start without putting fuel into the plug. And lo and behold, it did the same trick here yesterday morning when my son came to fetch it. And when he took it home, he just gave it one pull and he started directly without doing a thing. And he started it later on after fitting it back on the machine. And it did the same thing, so something's moved somewhere there and it's working in order anyway. Anyway, okay, no problems there. We'll be in touch, Julian. Right then, Glenn, are you still there on Hottover? GW0JI?
Yeah, still here, Will, but I have to make this one a final. A couple of comments. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go down to the Lion Rally. Mike has kindly offered me a lift, but I'm doing something the day before, which means it'll be too much of a rush that weekend. So I won't be able to make it, but I'd love to go down there sometime. And Julian, you said this Ballan, you said it's a 9-to-1 Ballan with a primary and a secondary. Two questions. Have you got any idea roughly how many turns on the primary and how many on the secondary? And is it wound on ferrite or is it or what is it? Julian? Go ahead with that.
Okay. Yes, it's wound on two very large ferrite rings. I can't remember the values of them now. But I can't remember the turns either. I've got the data here. I've had it for some years here because I use this grounded end fed, you see, 180 feet. That's my antenna here, which is very convenient for me. I've had doublets and stuff, which are great, but my tower is quite a way away from the shack, and although there's not any loss in any great length of open wire feeder, it looked quite unwildly dangling about, and it wasn't taken very well with the XYL and things like this, so we changed it. And I've had this antenna for some years. It works very well for me, but I have a very good grounding system here because I'm close to the river, but that's another story. So I'll dig out the data and let you know. That's the best thing I can say. Glenn, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it's very interesting to knock one up. Like I say, it's something I've never used, but I've got some fairly large ferrite rings here and wire and stuff, and it might be something I can just knock up quickly just to see what difference it would make here. Well, thanks for that. There's no hurry on it, but one morning when you're on and conditions are good, we'll get the information from you. Okay, I'm going to have to sign, so I wish you all 7-3. Say good morning to all the shortwave listeners. And as far as I know now, I'll be on tomorrow morning with no worries at all. So I think, did David sign? I know Ken did. Did David sign or is he still there? Anyway, if so, you take it, David. If not, it's around you, Julian. 7-3 all, take it, David.
Yes, okay, Glenn. Yes, have a good day there, and interesting talk about antennas, yes. Well, I'm barefoot here with a G5RV, and it seems to suit my climatic conditions because it's fairly weatherproof, and we get a lot of wind up here over 1,000 feet. So I'm not going to change anything here. So we'll have to put up with it as it is for a while. But it's lasted, I haven't had to do very much with it over the years. It's just self-adjusting more or less with tensions kept on the ends of the 204-foot GIV, G7. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, I'll make this my final while I've still got it. Yes, the G5RV. 2W0EDW signing and going QRT, and good morning to all our listeners, and on to you there, Julian. GW0EIK from 2W0EDW, over.
Yeah, lovely. 2W0EDW, GW0EIK. Yes, I'm going to sign now. Just have a word with Will if he wants anything or whatever, and I'll get outside and do a few jobs as the sun is still here. Well, you know, it's working great for you. You're about 15 over 9 to me, so the G5RV is doing a great job. And I've had this up here for years. I recently changed the wire. Will came and gave me a hand. It broke because when we had the strong winds, a big tree we had at the bottom of the garden where it was attached came down. So anyway, it's all up and running, but I'm going to put down a couple of more oil things today as the weather is good. Okay, 73 to everybody. I'll listen and come back if there's any comments, but that's it for today, and over to you then, Will. Go ahead.
Yeah, 73 David, and all the best. GW0ERK, MW0CBD. Okay, Julian. No, well, I'll be going out. I'm going to have a cup of tea now, and then I'll be going out to do I'll have to drop that aerial in any case to get the post off. But that's no big issue because it's on a pulley and it'll be down on the ground in no time as far as that goes. And as I say, I'll give you a shout when we're ready to put the other one back up. That's the only time I'll need a hand anyway. So I'll put the two claws onto the end of the feeder on that one, so that one's ready to go again when we get at it there. Okay, Julian, thanks for everything for the time being anyway. Catch you further down the line there. GW0EIK, MW0CBD.
Okay, good signal here, Will. Anyway, all right, 73 to everybody, and I won't be on tomorrow because I go early to the gym, but I'll be on as soon as I get the chance. I didn't realise you came on every day, I think, including Sunday, so there we are. Okay, see you all, and have a good day, everybody. TW0EIK signing and going outside. 73, bye-bye.
Yeah, 73 Julian, all the best. TW0EIK, MW0CBD, listening before closing the net. Over?
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Inside, but the actual transmitter is a fairly standard device. At least it has been in the ones that I've built and the KX3. So there's something for you. So that's an interesting over for me. And yes, you're right about the cost of the bridge rectifiers. I've paid £3.50, and that's for the bridge rectifier and first class postage. I paid extras to get it quickly because I wanted to get it done for him fairly quickly. He's trying to use another power supply it's got a lot of AC hum on it, and I'm a bit concerned he's going to destroy his equipment, but there we go. So the actual rectifier was less than £2, and I think that's marvellous for a 35 amp rectifier. And I've also gone a little bit higher on the voltage rating, because the original one I think was only like 35 volts rating, so I've gone for 100 volts, and there's actually 19 volts supposedly coming out of the transformer. It is 19 when I measured it on my analog voltmeter, but there we go. So actually the transformer is quite a nice thing, and it's quite not a very new Daiwa power supply, and it's also I'm envious of it because it hasn't got a built-in cooling fan, but it does have 3 extremely large series transistors to stabilize the voltage, and they are bolted to a very substantial heatsink, so you don't need a fan. A G0 GSR MW0 GYB. Oh, by the way, everybody is now 5 and 9. Everybody is 5 and 9 to me direct. G0 GSR MW0 GYB.
Yeah, okay, Peter. G0 GSR. Well, everybody's 5 and 9 with me as well. Well, reasonably anyway. Your rectifier, though, Peter, I tend to settle on or standardise on 800 volt rectifiers. I know it's a bit of an overkill for a 12 volt power supply, but they don't cost any more than your 100 volt one. So I tend to standardise on the 800 volt ones. Can't imagine why they would just fit a 30 volt rectifier. I didn't even think they made such things under 100 volts.
Voltage drop, Frank.
What did you say, Peter? Sorry?
Oh, sorry, I know I interrupted you, but I know you can hear me. The voltage drop across the rectifier, it's normally less with a lower rating low-rated one. I only know that because I've got one on my boat from the solar panel I've got on the boat, and you have to, if you get one with a very high voltage rating, the voltage drop across it is too great. QSL?
QSL? I don't know. Yeah, okay, Peter. That could only happen if there are more than one diode in each leg of the rectifier. I've been measuring them at 0.7, 0.8 volt. So I don't think there is a problem in using the high voltage ones, but never mind, as they say. Right, Dave's fly swatter sounds interesting. I must admit, it does sound a bit dangerous if you're going to increase the capacitor in it. I presume it's an electric one that electrocutes the poor little so-and-sos. I bought an interesting thing from eBay fairly recently. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's the, just for matter of interest, it's the capacitor from a defibrillator, and it's quite frightening actually. It's 105 microfarads at 2.1 kV. So just imagine that discharging through some poor so-and-so that's having a heart problem. That's quite a lot of energy. And talking about mispronounced words, we were talking about that the other day, weren't we? And when with John. I heard a really funny thing. You do hear some funny things listening on this band, don't you, during the daytime, two of the QSOs. I heard two very funny things yesterday. The first was there was a couple having a QSO and they were talking about Heil microphones, which you know I dislike intensely. But one of them said he'd emailed Bob Heil to ask his opinion on which microphone to buy. Well, what a biased opinion he's going to get from that, isn't he? I don't know. What does he expect? He expecting to buy a Kenwood or an Icon mic, I don't know. And then the second one was somebody's amplifier had a barograph display. So how about that? A atmospheric pressure gauge on his power amplifier. What do you reckon, Stuart? M1AWX and the Group G0GSR.
The G0GSR Mike 1 AWX. I'm the same as you, everybody's 5 and 9 now. Yeah, well, I bought a handheld dial because I thought it was the I can't remember, either the 4 or the 5 insert, and I put it on this, or else the 680. I never said nothing to anybody, and I got absolutely no comments whatsoever. The ones that I talked to reasonably regularly never said that there's stronger, worse, whatever. There was no comment. So I decided that I'd wasted the money because, mind you, I was using an MC50 at the time. This is an MC60, but the electronic bit's not on. But I hear a load of bull about how much difference it makes and all this. And I thought, well, rather than tell somebody so that they can tell me how marvelous it sounds because it's an oil, I won't say nothing. And that was my experience. So I'm the same as you, I'm afraid. I will not be buying any more. So I'm not sure who I pass it around to for sure. So G0GSR, Mike 1 AWX in the group.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, Roger. Yes, okay. Well, Stuart, it's a favourite topic for us three, talking about microphones and sort of pseudo quality. And our friend Mr. Heil is one of our favourite targets, no doubt about that. But as regards to that defibrillator capacity, that sounds wonderful, Frank. Yes, I'd like to have a play with that. I think that might... How big is that capacitor, Frank?
Oh, it's about 5 inches long and about, well, let's go metric. Okay, it's 130 mil long and about 40 mil diameter, Dave, over.
Be more specific. How many coulomb?
Wonderful.
Do you keep it short-circuited, Roger?
Well, no, I don't actually, to be honest. I have checked it and there's no volts on it. I've never played with it, so it's never been charged up since I've had it, Dave, over.
Yeah, Roger. What is it? Is it a paper oil fill thing, Roger?
Well, that's the problem. I'm not really sure. It's made in Italy. I've not been able to find the spec on it. I'm pretty sure it's not an electrolytic, but it seems to be too small to be a paper capacitor, Dave, over.
Yeah, Roger. It's a strange size. 2.1 kV. What was the capacitance again?
It's 105 microfarad, plus or minus 3.5%, Dave.
Yeah, Roger, that's lethal, isn't it? I wouldn't want them to bang. Well, I would. If I was dead and they could bring me back alive again, then of course I'd let the. I wouldn't feel it, would I? But that'd kill you, Frank, Roger.
Well, hopefully it would bring the Frankenstein monster back to life, Dave. But just to you, Peter, I just measured the forward voltage drop of this rectifier. It's a 25 amp, 800 volt rectifier, and it was 0.7 volt at 1 amp. So I'm not sure what it would be at 25 amps, but I think there's only one diode junction in there, so I would expect it to be just the same as a low voltage rectifier, Peter, over.
Yeah, thanks for that. Well, of course, I ordered it now, but I'm with you. Normally, I would have ordered an 800 volt, but I mean, we don't need it on this because it's only it's basically the standard PSU. So it's nominally 13.8, which was actually out, so I've adjusted his meter accordingly, and so it's 13.8 volts on the indent on the adjustment. It goes up to 16 volts DC, and the transformer's nominally 19 volts in. Anyway, I can beat you on that. The capacitor in my power supply I'm using now is, of course, it's 50 volts at the moment, and it's 50,000 microfarads. It's a bloody great big thing. I don't know where it came from. I've had it for years. 50,000 microfarads. It's all right. Sounds too many, but it's a huge bloody thing at 50 volts. So what's that? 15. Take that out and chuck down. That's more coulomb, I think, isn't it? I know it makes an awfully big spark if you short it out when you're running it.
I'd have to get my calculator out, Peter, but back to Dave anyway. It's over.
Yep, Roger. Okay, well, it's the voltage, isn't it, that's the tricky bit. I think with these big electrolytic capacitors, where low voltage is concerned, you're if you put your finger across it, you're unlikely to get burnt. But you can certainly weld a screwdriver with them, that's for sure. But with the high voltage ones, that's when it starts getting very, very tricky. As regards to my fly swap, Frank, I've got a problem with moths actually. Every evening, I've got one little moth, and it's only the size of about half the size of a housefly, but it for some reason at a certain time of the night it flies straight at me. I don't know whether it's a kamikaze moth or what, but. And so I thought, right, I'll sort you out. I'll get one of these fly swaps. So I bought some, and the first one, or one of them, was broken, and the other one, I mean, you could touch it with your finger, and it hurt, but it certainly wasn't enough to knock a fly or a moth out of the sky. So I looked inside, and very, 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 very cheap little sort of rectifier, and not a rectifier, transformer, step-up transformer with an oscillator, and there was a safety resistor across the output capacitor, which was quite a small value. 0.01, I think. Was it 0.1? No, 0.01. Anyhow, so what I decided to do was put a great big paper capacitor on it, and it's 0.2, and the output from the oscillator thing is about 700 volts. So when I did get them off, by the way, but I then noticed that there was another one. So what I thought was one moth is actually probably a little family. So I've got a lot more zapping to do, I think, before I'm free of them. By the way, Peter, your 870 sounds so much better than that KX3. Don't get me wrong, the KX3 sounds very good. When you switch to the 870, it was just so much richer. Had a bigger bottom. You had a much bigger bottom on the 870, in my opinion. As regards to volt drops, I bought some diodes for a friend of mine. He's a model railway enthusiast, and he had an automatic changeover circuit whereby the train that goes up a single piece of track, it actually goes up his garden, gets to the end, and then it goes around a loop, and by using a bridge, he can reverse the polarity when it comes back. And but the one that he was using had quite a big volt drop, so I chose some diodes, and I forget what they called them now, but they had really low volt drops, and so I built him this bridge rectifier out of those, and it worked a lot better than his original. But that was some time ago now. I've forgotten all the details about the diodes. But they had incredibly low volt drops and significant amounts of current. I don't know whether the volt drop across the diode changes as the current does. I don't think it changes much. Obviously somebody with a bit more knowledge about it would be able to tell me. Right, so round to you then, Peter. MW0GYV, M0FBZ in the group.
Well, I don't know whether to be impressed or what about my low bottom or my broad bottom. Yeah, I've got on my wide setting, so I'm transmitting 0 to 3000 hertz, and not as I heard somebody talking the other day, 0 to 3000 kilohertz, or 0 to 3 megs. There we go. I think it's a Schottky diode, Dave. So I think the Schottky diode's got low voltage drop, low forward resistance. Anyway, that's that. If it's got it must have forward resistance, I guess, and so it does depend on the current, doesn't it? Because it's the old VIR thing. Anyway, and be careful with putting paper capacitors across 5 voltages. I once put a paper capacitor across, I think I used it as a starter capacitor on the spin dryer once. This was many years, 30 years ago, and it worked fine. You have to press a little push to switch on button to make the it was the spin dryer to make it work, and eventually the paper capacitor exploded because it was a standard one out of a radio, and my wife was not very pleased because it covered the little utility room in silver foil, and she was very cross with me. So that's that. Yeah, my power supply, the primary side has got stonking big bleeders across the capacitor to discharge them. And it's actually on a heat sink, so they do need to be quite well cooled. And I just worked out I'm not sure how you work out the capacity in coulombs, but I just multiplied the voltage rating by the capacity, and yours work out at 210,000 microvolt farads or volt microfarads, whatever it is, and mine worked out at 250. But you said yours was 3.5% tolerance, so I said, well, yours could be as high as 220,000 microvolt farads. I've just invented that. And mine could be because mine are electrolytics for sure, they could be at least 20% out, so I've taken off 50,000, and mine could be as low as 200,000. So yours could be, you probably are bigger than mine there, Frank. G0GSR MW0GYV, getting compopulated here.
Yeah, I think there was somebody else just on by a second, if you would. Yeah, it's the charging coulombs is Q equals CV, but it's all in the basic units of farads and voltage, so you've got to convert the capacitance into farads to multiply by the volts to get the number of coulombs. And yes, Schottky diode voltages are much lower than silicon, but they tend to be lower voltage. I think you can get them up to fairly low voltages, but you can't make high voltage rectifiers out of Schottky diodes, as far as I know anyway. I've used them to diode combine 2 DC power supplies together, and they're very, very good at that. But Dave's moths, I will be quite worried about those, Dave, to be honest, because those little tiny moths are the ones that eat clothing. We have noticed this once or twice. We had a very good quality woolen coat, which we'd kept in the wardrobe for some time and sent it for dry cleaning with the intention of selling it on Fleabay. And we didn't really notice until we paid for it to be cleaned that it had moth holes in it. So even nowadays, those little moths are still doing some damage. Now, round to you, Stu. I hope you're still copying from G0GSR.
G0GSR and Mike 1 AWX. Yeah, luckily I haven't seen many of those little ones recently, so that's okay. We did find some eggs a few years ago in one of the carpets, but that was a while ago now. Hopefully it stays like I'm touching wood, but it is a piece of wood. It's not any of the imitation stuff, so hopefully that's all right. And just as a matter of interest, it wasn't my head either. I think it's carrying on to clear a little, so I think it's supposed to get a little better. All interesting stuff, gentlemen, but I think I'm going to have to move and get on with something here. So I'll wish you all the best for now, and maybe I'll catch you again or have a listen in. Thank you for the information. And I think it's M0 Sugar Bravo Zulu, Mike 1 Alpha Whiskey X-Ray. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, okay, Stuart. All the best to you, my friend, and look forward to chatting to you again. Well, the problem was, Frank, that I opened my wallet and they all flew out, Roger.
I'm surprised you were still alive, Dave.
Yeah, Roger. Oh dear. Anyhow, I guess you're right. Actually, there's all sorts of little moths, isn't there? I think there's a clothes moth, carpet moth, and I believe you can get some sort of kitchen moth. I think there's some sort of moth that lives off of the debris of food and things in pantry moth or something, I think they're called. But they all looked a bit... I did a bit of research and they all looked about the same. I suppose if I hoovered the carpet and tidied up a little bit more often, I probably wouldn't be bothered. So maybe that's the answer. But it's much more fun to zap them. There's nothing left of them, by the way, when I get them. Flies don't... I think they'd probably be too big for this thing. I think a fly would probably just turn around and laugh at you if you were chasing it around the living room. But the moths, when you zap them, they're just a big cloud of smoke and nothing left at all. I don't think. I bet your respective wives would think it's horrendous, but it certainly provides amusement when the thing attacks me. Yeah? Oh dear. Right, so round to you then, Peter. MW0GYV with G0GSR, Mike 0 Sierra Bravo Zulu, and cheerio to Stuart.
Yeah, cheerio, Stuart. And if you want to improve your audio, you need to drop your frequency by about 03 or 04 because you're slightly off frequency. I did have a little listen, and it sounds nicer when I got you on correct receive frequency. But nope, very good. So I still think I'm very wary of paper capacitors and high voltage. I know if you use them properly, but I guess the thing with the one that exploded, it was on AC and it was actually a DC capacitor, but very high rated. But oh well, there we go. So anyway, there's one way to find out how your defibrillator capacitor is manufactured, Frank, and that is to take the hacksaw to it. G0GSR MW0GYV.
G0GSR. Well, first of all, I'll say 73s to Stuart, and thanks for calling in, Stuart. And I do apologise. I thought I heard somebody else trying to break in, but I forgot to bring them in. So, is there anybody else around from G0GSR? Oh no, I don't hear him. Maybe I was hearing things. Okay. Right, what was I going to say? I think we should report Dave to the RSPCM, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty Against Moths, because he is a cruel so-and-so, isn't he? I don't know. But what are we doing? Right, Peter's KX3. When you have your compressor on the KX3, it does sound pretty awful. I think without it sounds almost identical to the radio you're on at the moment. But with the compressor on, it does sound pretty bad. It does something else apart from add compression. It restricts the frequency response quite a bit. But I've worked out the charge on this little capacitor. If I was to charge it up to 2.1 kV, it's only 0.2 of a coulomb, which doesn't sound a lot, but I suppose it would make a big spark. Anyway, I'll just say cheers to Stuart if he's still there, and thanks for calling in, Stuart, from G0GSR.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are clear now, and enjoy the rest of the morning. 7-3 all.
Okay, cheers, Stuart, and round to you, Dave, from G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger. Cheerio, Stuart. G0GSR in the group, M0SPZ returning. Well, I looked at, I was checking out capacitors a few weeks ago, actually, and evidently, if you're going to use capacitors on the mains, they have to be rated differently, depending on whether they're live, across the live and the neutral, or live to earth. And I started reading it, and I must admit I was a bit tired, so I didn't finish it, but there is definitely different ways, or different ratings of capacitors. I suppose they're made slightly differently, depending on the usage, whether they're connected from live to earth, or live to neutral. I don't know whether you guys have ever come across anything like that. Round to you, Peter?
Yeah, I have. My mum used to make capacitors, or at least the place she worked at used to make them for suppressors before the advent of the solid state ones. She worked for a German chap, and so they used to wind them, and I don't know what the differences are between them. I just know that the one I used was we were very short of money at the time, so I couldn't afford to buy the proper starter capacitor. At least I didn't know even where to get one from, and I thought I was being clever, so I just wired one in series with the starter coil, as it were, because you just need to flip the motor a little bit to make it go around, don't you? Once it moves, it's okay. And the problem was that it was an old waxed paper capacitor, and it was okay for the voltage rating, but it certainly wasn't intended for that particular role, that particular function. I should never have done it, really. I just remember apparently it went off with quite a bang, and I got into trouble because all the foil came out through the bottom of the I think it was a twin tub, and it came out the bottom of the twin tub and absolutely filled the utility room is too posh a word for it. There's a lean-to on the back of the garage, and she made me clean it all up. So and then she made me buy her a new washing machine. So that was hard. But it did last about 6 months, I must say. But there we go. But you're absolutely correct on what's been. And the Moth Preservation Society will be after you. G0GSR MW0GYV.
G0GSR. I was just about to look up X and Y rated capacitors. Yes, Dave, I have heard of those to go across the mains. And I think the main difference is the insulation material that's used in the capacitor and then the properties of the insulation material. I think some of them are quoted as being self-healing. If they do get a slight puncture in the dielectric, then the material flows slightly to repair the damage. So I think that's the difference between normal capacitors and those that are rated to go across the mains or from mains to earth. Like you say, they are different. There's an X and a Y rated capacitor. In fact, I think there are even sub-ratings as well of I think there's an X2 rating, but like yourself, I would have to check that to refresh my memory. But yes, AC capacitors. You can buy specific motor run capacitors, Peter. I've had them in the past. But there's nothing particularly special about them. They're just rated to work on the AC voltage rather than DC. But they are a standard capacitor. But don't forget the peak voltage of AC is 1.414 times the RMS. So you would need a higher voltage than you would think. But I'm sure you knew that anyway. But it could have been the current that destroyed that capacitor, the current rating of it. But getting onto motors again, and of course Dave's the expert on motors, but was it just DC motors that was your expertise, Dave, or did you have experience of AC motors, such as these twin-phase capacitor start or capacitor run motors? SDRPlay the group G0GSR.
Yeah, DC, Frank. Everything's a lot. DC motors are a lot easier than AC motors. Everything with a DC motor, straight line. When you look at the motor curves, they're all very, very linear. You know, the voltage and the speed and the current and so on. But the watts aren't, of course. That's the curve. But yeah, so all straight lines, very, very simple, basic stuff. But on the subject of motors and capacitors, we had a big scare. We had a motor that was designed in Delco Products in Dayton, Ohio, and we were given it to build here at Dunstable, and it had RFI suppression, and they'd used ceramic capacitors in the RFI suppression to suppress the brush noise. And these capacitors were capable of, if they had their failure mode, was short circuit. And so they'd put in these capacitors, and they'd got all through the life testing and everything. But of course, our friends at Opel, the engineers there, they're not known for their liking of Americans. So they wouldn't have it. They would not accept it because it had these ceramic capacitors, and their failure mode was short circuit. And of course, they would say, well, that's a potential fire situation in a vehicle, so we're not going to have it. And cost us a lot of money to change over to I forget what sort of capacitors we used afterwards. But we changed them so that they would fail open circuit. But cost us a lot of money. In point of fact, the design was hopeless anyhow. They typical Americans. They thought they were going to come to Europe and show us how to design motors and so on. And all of their designs were absolute rubbish. And when they looked at the sort of products that were available in Europe from Bosch and SWF and indeed our own motors, they were really shocked about the difference in quality and in terms of design, and so they sort of went back to Dayton with their tail between their legs. Right, so I'm talking about work again. Peter, MW0GYV, M0SPZ in the group.
M0SPZ, MW0GYV, returning to the group. It's interesting you should say that, Dave, because in my company it was exactly the same. They were hopeless at designing anything with electrics or electronics. It was all very old-fashioned. They were still controlling machines with relays and things when we've been long using the Siemens schematics and things like that. And then they designed a hand tool, which was electric tool. And they designed it, but they forgot that we had 50 hertz. And of course they're on 60 hertz. And all our stuff with AC, obviously. But because if it'll run, but it'll run slower. But it also takes more power, and the damn things would always burn out. And they would never have it. So, and then they tried to deal with. They tried to get the GS sign, and they went and got involved with the tough people in Cologne, and they got themselves into a hell of a mess. So we went and sorted that out for them. And in the end, they gave up trying to design anything electric, and they used to get us to do it in Europe. So they were a common thing, and that was a very large American corporation, just like General Motors. And fair enough about the short circuiting on the capacitors. The ones that my mum's company was involved with were metallized film. I don't know if they're Mylar, but I remember them the film coming on great big long rolls, and it was metalized. And then basically all that they were doing in the factory in Redditch was to coil it up, obviously make the connections, and they used to put them in little plastic pots, and then fill the plastic pots with epoxy. It was kind of a messy job, and one of the jobs I helped the company with was, because I knew the boss eventually, I designed and made for him some jigs so that they could fill them easily and get them out of the jigs easily. He originally made jigs out of metal, and they often used to epoxy the new capacitors to the metal jigs. They couldn't get them out. They were using a hammer and a chisel to get these damn things out when they overfilled them, And I mean, the women in the plant were pretty stupid. So I designed some made out of polyethylene, high density polyethylene, and then he couldn't get them made. So I made them in my garage, and he paid me for it. That was a long, long time ago. So I've still got the drill I bought on the proceeds. And yeah, short circuiting, open circuiting. I was surprised when I found this bridge rectifier. I was expecting to find one of the legs open circuit, because that would have, I was working out what the voltages were, etc. Because the transformer was clearly not being loaded or anything. It wasn't wasn't going lots of current through the damn thing. But two of the legs, as I say, the two diodes to the negative terminal, they're low resistance both ways. So I guess they're just short circuit. And I would have expected them to have burnt out and been open circuit. The legs to the positive are still fine, but I've cut the legs off now, so he can't use it again. But I've just kept it to show him and stuff like that. All very interesting. So G0 GSR, MW0 GY, and I'm very offended about my KX3 now. I shall never use the compression button ever again. MW0 GYV.
G0 GSR. Well, I'm sure there's something you do about it, Peter. It must be something in the settings there, because it's not just a compressor that you were switching on. It's doing something else as well. So I'm sure it's adjustable. But capacitor failure modes, yes, I've experienced failure of these X and Y capacitors as well, and I had one it was a quad audio preamp, and it just sat there smoking quite nicely across the mains. So that failed in a sort of leaky mode. But semiconductor diodes normally fail short circuit with excess current, because it tends to melt the junction which fuses together, and of course that's the end of it, and normally puts a short circuit on the transformer which blows the fuse. So if yours didn't do that, Peter, then they must have gone open circuit, I don't know. Most strange. But talking about motors again, I find these small model motors very incredible. The little tiny, they've gone back to AC motors again, haven't they, for the model quadcopters and model aircraft that use electric motors. And the electric motors are absolutely tiny and come with their own little three-phase electronic driver circuit, and they do get some incredible power to these little motors. M0SBZ in the group, G0 GSR.
Yeah, Roger, G0 GSR in the group, M0SBZ. Yes, well, diode short. Do LEDs that fail short circuit, Frank, Roger?
I don't know, to be honest. Why don't you try one, Dave?
Yeah, I know if you put too much volts in them, they glow orange eventually, not run red, and they don't all fail open circuit.
And let you know. Dear, what was I going to talk about? So I've had diodes go short circuit, and of course these ceramic capacitors on the RFI suppression on the motors they never actually failed. It was just that Opel decided that there was a possibility that they could fail, and it was an absolute no-no to use them in an application where they're effectively across the battery, because battery volts across the motor. But DC motors, as I said, were a lot easier to design than AC motors. I have messed about with AC motors, but it all gets a little bit complicated, and there's so many permutations of different windings and so on. DC motors are a lot easier, as I say, because everything is sort of straight lines, and you can predict it quite well. I actually studied when I was in America doing my degree at General Motors Institute. I was actually in Dayton, Ohio, with Delco Products, and on my work period, and I thought they were really, really clever people. But they seem to lose it, and the problem with American stuff is that their cars in those days were just huge, great petrol guzzlers, and of course, so efficiency just didn't enter into their sort of vocabulary in terms of car design, and that was sort of carried over into motor design as well. They weren't particularly interested in how efficient it was. As long as it was a really beefed up thing, then they were quite happy with it. And of course, when they came to Europe with these designs, they were just sort of wiped away by the European engineering, especially companies like Bosch and SWF, who efficiency was their middle name. So, oh dear, brings back memories. Right, okay, right. So I'll carry out a check on an LED if I remember, and then I'll let you know. I've got a feeling they may actually. See, I've had LEDs fail, and they haven't blown anything up. So maybe they fail open circuit. Well, I guess they would do. But is there a mode where they fail short circuit like an ordinary diode? Maybe, I don't know. Right, so it's coming up to past the bewitching hour, so probably time to call it a day and have a cup of coffee. So let's go round once more. MW0GYV, M0 in the group, M0SBZ.
M0SBZ, MW0GYV returning to the group. Yeah, the American designs tended to be fairly crude, and compared to the elegant designs of the European equipment, as far as our company was concerned anyway. So I concur absolutely on that. And the model motors, yeah, I've got a few model motors because I was into radio control models for a while, and I had a number of models which used like 3.5 to 5 cc. Fairly powerful little glow motors, very noisy, very messy, and difficult to start. And then I investigated battery power, and I was using 11.1 volt small lithium cells, which were smaller than the fuel tank I was using, and tiny, like I say, tiny little 3-phase motors with driving circuits. I also had some systems which used the standard DC brush motors, but they weren't so efficient. But these little 3-phase motors, golly, the power you got out of them, and the problem was the weight of the motor wasn't sufficient. You have to get the battery right forward to get the right CG, because you lost this lump of glow motor off the front. But yeah, they were great fun, and amazingly efficient. I presume it's gone even better. In fact, I was looking on the internet on YouTube the other day, and I felt very inadequate.
Alpha Charlie.
Right, yeah, right, got that now. GHAAC, okay, got you there now. No, and that was direct, so no problem. I said, you're a bit down in the noise, but it's more the problem. The noise is up to you rather than you down to the noise. Anyway, let's bring Brian in first of all, and he was the first one I heard. M0OIC, GW4PUT.
Golf 64, Papa Uniform Charlie, from Mike Zero, Oscar Billy Charlie. Yes, good morning to you, Ray, and everyone else on frequency. You're between 5 and 7 and difficult on the rig. I've got a lot of noise on the rig this morning, so I'm finding you better through Stafford. So through Stafford about a 5859. Not heard anyone else apart from Andy. Good morning. Golf 8, Juliet, Alpha Charlie, about 5 and 7 on the rig, Andy, 5 and 9 through Stafford SDR. So copying everyone, lovely sunny day here again, 14.2 degrees centigrade in the back garden. Not a shade temperature. My sensor unit is actually from a pearl because that's charging the battery as well. So it's not a shade temperature, it's an open air temperature. Hope all are well. Golf 54 PUC from Mike Zero OIC.
M0OIC, GW4PUC. Okay, Brian, put 5 and 7 with me, mate, 5 and 7. But that's mainly, again, because this noise is background I've got. It's quite obtrusive. But nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. Okay, but anyway, yeah, lovely to hear you this morning. And I trust you and Linda are doing okay there. Anyway, back to Andy then. GHAAC, GW4PUC. Morning, Andy.
Golf 8 Juliet Alpha Charlie, good morning, Ray. You're 5 and 9. Bit of up and down, unfortunately, but not more or less consistent 5 and 9. Morning, Brian. 5 and 9 from you as well. And I did hear Gordon AWJ there. So everybody's 5 and 9. In fact, the noise level here is quite low this morning. It's about S4, which is not too bad really for here. So it's a bright sunny morning, which I don't know, perhaps that's causing the low noise level, don't know. But it's nice. We had rain overnight, but it's nice and bright this morning here. Temperature, no idea, but it's quite reasonable. I've got the morning to myself. The XYL has taken number 4 grandchild out this morning, so I've got the morning to myself to pot around the shack and get on with some work, which hopefully I'll manage to do. Makes a change to be on this time in the morning. So, trust the world is good with you there, Ray. So back to you from Golf 8 Juliet Alpha Charlie.
Golf 8 Juliet Alpha Charlie, Golf Whiskey 4 Papa Uniform Charlie. Okay, Andy, and yeah, well, I was going to give you 4-5, but I've twiddled the old controls a bit now, and you're pretty well 5 and 8 now. 5 and 8, shall we call that, Andy? Also, that's 5-8 for you, Andy. And I guess it'll probably be the same for you, Brian. I'll tell you next time. But managed to get rid of some of the noise there. Right, so before I go to the top of the shop, folks, anybody else there for the Royal Signals Thursday morning net? GW4PUC listening?
G4LRG?
Oh, hello, John. G4LRG at 1012. Okay, John, that seems a nice signal, mate. I'm pretty well sure that's going to be a solid 5 and 9. So we'll put it straight over to you. G4LRG, GW4PUC,
GW4PUC, G4LRG returning. Good morning, Ray. 5 and 9. I'm using Stafford Direct. It's very poor. So you're 5 and 9. Brian's 5 and 9, and so is Andy. Not heard anybody else yet. So any other reports next time round. But all's well at this end. Hope it's the same with you. We've got a bit of blue sky. It's quite breezy. Outside temperature about 10 degrees, but it's fresh in the breeze if you're outside. So it looks warmer than what it is. Anyway, back round to you. GW4PUC, G4LRG.
G4LRG, GW4PUC, Royal Signals. Okay, John, yeah, well, I can give you a 5 and 9, mate, yeah, no problem. And that's direct, so everybody's direct this morning, don't have to use that screen. And yeah, well, we've got sunshine deck here this morning for a change, John. It's our turn now, not before time. It's a beautiful morning, although I see now there's a bit of cloud out there now, but it was solid blue sky when I got up. But everything is wet, mind, in the garden. When I went over to put the peanuts out earlier on, I got fish squelching across the ground there. I don't know whether it's been raining. It must have been raining at night, I suppose. But and yes, everything is dry apart from the grass area. So I don't think you get that heavy a view. So it's I need to cut the grass badly, but it's just so soggy out there. So there we are. Anyway, yeah, okay, that's everybody on the list now. So we'll go to the top. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you, and me, making 6 of us so far. So we go to the top, and you can hear the other ones, and then John and Andy. G4EWJ, GW4PUC. Over to you, Gordon.
From G4EWJ, fine business, Ray, and copying everybody direct in various degrees. On Hack Green, I find it's a bit noisy this morning. I've gone to Stafford, and the quieting effect on Stafford is much, much better than Hack Green. I was copying everybody on Stafford, a lovely 5 and 9 plus in most cases. So no problems in copying either with the computer or even direct. I could copy to if I needed to swap anybody. So that's fine.
Okay, Brian, since I got the ham radio deluxe working on the new desktop computer, with your alterations, everything's working fine, and all tactical signs are being brought up too, so well done there, my boy. And good morning, Andy. Not heard you for some while. Nice 5 and 9. 5 and 8 direct, Andy. 5 and 9 this way. Brian was 5 and 8 direct. John, good morning. 5758 direct with QSB, John, on you. Rather strange, really, but again, direct on Stafford, a lovely 5 and 9 plus. And oh yeah, I don't know if you're heading this way this summer, John, but if you do, I would make it my aim in life to see that I could see you if you're headed this way. However, time will tell. WX here in Heathfield this morning is 9.5 degrees. It's slowly creeping up. The clouds are clearing. I can see some sun breaking through, or trying to break through. So it promises to be quite a nice day. And possibly we'll make about 25 past Ray before I've got to fire the engine up, according from the latest orders from the headquarters here. And that's what she had on the phone. So we'll see. If I stay a bit longer, all the better. GW4PUC, Royal Signal, G4AWJ.
G4AWJ, GW4PUC. Okay, Gordon, fine there. And yeah, still holding up 5 and 9. Everybody with me is 5 and 9 direct, so it's damn good conditions this morning. And yeah, I was saying to the guys earlier on, to the later joiners, I was on yesterday, 10 o'clock, called for about 20 minutes and never heard a soul, after which I gave up. But there we are, looking much better today. So, over to Brian, G0BFJ, G0BFJ, GW4PC. How are you, Brian?
Yes, a very good morning, everybody, and nice to hear everybody. I hadn't realised that it was the Royal Singles Net when I joined in, but not to worry, I hope I'm not intruding. Not Royal Singles myself, gentlemen, RAF Regiment for my sins, but there we go. We did play radio a bit whilst I was in there, so maybe I qualify a little bit, but there we go. So, most people are 5 and 9, except for, I think it's Mike 0 Oscar India Golf, who's only 5 and 5 with some QSB on it there, but I am feeding in. So there we go. And I'd like to join the Royal Singles Net. It makes it seem to be up to chat to folks. As there's lots of activity on 80 metres these days. People don't seem to have escaped from 40 at the moment. Anyway, that's it for me for the moment. I'll just see what you all talk about and what the subject might be, and then we'll come back. So back to you, Ray. GW4, you'll see G0BFJ.
G0BFJ, GW4PUC. Okay, Brian, your signal was a little bit up and down that time. You faded almost completely out at one stage and came back up again. So it's a little bit odd that time, but there we are. I did copy it all. But, okay, and I think somebody tried to call in then as well. So was there somebody trying to call in the signal set, GW4PUC listening? Sorry, I'm not sure. I only caught the end of that. I've had to turn half green on. It might have been John, M3VRB. Was it? Over? GW4PUC. Morning, John. I thought I really only caught the B at the end, maybe a bit of the R and the B at the end of the first call, but I recognise the voice, even from that little thing. Anyway, morning to you, mate. Nice to catch you this morning. It's been a while, hasn't it? And you're no more than 3 by 3, and that's being generous on direct there, but you're stonking in on that green, so no problem, mate. Anyway, lovely to have you this morning. So anyway. let's see now. You're bottom of the list at the moment, John, but we'll come down to you now in a minute. Anyway, first of all, Brian, you're RAF regiment, are you? Well, bugger off then, bugger off. We don't want you here. No, only joking. You're very, very welcome, mate. Very welcome. We always welcome anybody onto the signal net, no problem whatsoever. And you'll get reports from everybody. But yeah, RAF regiment. I only think I ever at one place I was in contact with them. That's all. I never really saw them anywhere else. Just the one place. But yeah, no problem. You hang in there, Brian. And please, I hope you didn't take offence to my first remarks, mate. It was meant as a joke. Anyway, okay, Brian, M0OIC GW4PUC, over to you, mate.
For Papa Uniform Charlie, from Mike Zero Oscar Italy Charlie. Many thanks indeed, Ray. I think you might have caught the BFO a bit. The audio sounds a wee bit squeaky. So I'm on 3743. Maybe anybody else there apart from you, Ray. There you go. And as soon as I heard you mention Ryan, of course I quickly picked up the microphone. I didn't realise there was two of us on this morning. So your five, these are all through Stafford, by the way. I've got too much noise on the rig at this end, but that's that noise, which is a wee bit uncomfortable. So Stafford is a lot quieter. You, good 5859, Ray. Good morning to Brian, who made me jump at the microphone. Golf Zero, Bravo, Foxtrot, Juliet. Sorry I'm a wee bit low with you, Brian. QTH here is Motorsport Chilwell, Charlie Hotel, Emily, Lima, Whiskey, Echo, Lima, Chilwell, to the west of the city of Nottingham, between the town of Easton and the M1. So that's where we're located, Brian. And as I say, 257-ish. Gordon, good morning. For Agent UJ, 5 at 9 plus. Lovely strong signal coming up from Heathfield. And yes, well, I didn't mention the bill for instance, the newest your digital notes, Gordon. There is a price. One of these days, when it's convenient for you and I'm available, I would like a PSK and an RTTY point from you, and that'll cover it, Gordon. I'm not going to come down for an ice cream. An RTTY and PSK point will be more than sufficient, and I'm sure John People LRG would like one of those as well. So 5 at 9 plus. Good morning, Randy. Golf 8 Julian Albert Charlie, 5 at 9 plus. John People LRG, also good 5 at 9. John M3DRB, also good 5859 through Stafford, John. So no problems at all at this end. Tuesday afternoon didn't go too bad. We had customers. 53K Jacob here. He's got his aerial back up and he falls in, and of course it was nice to have Pat with us for a wee while, right? So there we go. Hopefully you'll continue and everything can be as well as possible with him and of course you. Golf 64 PUC from Mike Zero OIC.
Sorry about that. Let's try that the other minute. Anyway, okay, M0 OIC GW4PUC, okay. Yeah, that's good news about Pat then. It's been a long time since we've heard Pat, isn't it? And I'm sorry I missed him on Tuesday. What were we doing Tuesday? I guess, oh no, I think we had Mary had to go to the hospital, I think Tuesday, no, it was early afternoon, wasn't it? Anyway, never mind. Sorry I missed Pat anyway. I trust everything's okay there then, and I know the problems, with his missus there. So I trust everything's not too bad then. Anyway, yeah, I wish I could get my PSK working again. Sorry. Problem is what I just can't get this digital mode to work anymore. I don't know why. It's just stopped working, and I don't know what it is. So we'll have to see. Anyway, Andy, GHJAC from GW4PUC. Over to you, Andy.
GHJAC leaping across the shack because the actual rig is to one side of the workbench here. I'm happily burning fingers in desoldering a board. I want to convert it to something else. So. Right, G0BFJ, about 5 and 7 here, not quite as strong as the others, but Q5 nonetheless. And I can just about hear M3VRB, if that was him. I can hear something in the background, but not really making it into contact from here.
Right, just burning fingers, as I said, cleaning out this board. It's an old scrap board that I want to convert to something else. And all part of the great round chewit pile. I'm sure everybody's got one.
I'm away, Ray.
Things that you'll get round to
Okay, Gordon.
eventually. That's the round chewit pile. And I won't bore you with all the millions of jobs, but it never seems to go down. This is the trouble when you keep buying things that need repair or fixing or modifying, that the pile never goes down. And as soon as you start on something, you actually think, say, right, I'm going to have a day on this. And immediately somebody brings in another job. Well, can you just have a look at this? Oh dear. This week's can you just have a look at was a blooming, of all things, a blood pressure monitor. And my daughter-in-law brought this in. It doesn't work. Well, first problem was that the batteries in it were about 5 years old, and it proves the old thing that there ain't no such thing as a leak-proof battery. They all leak eventually, depends how long you leave them in there. So that took a good bit of cleaning up, and it still didn't work, so that involved a bit more digging. And obviously it had a good bash at one stage because one of those tiny little surface mount capacitors had broken off one end. So had to be a bit ingenious to solder that all back together. Out came the magnifying glasses and everything else. Still, it works now. Why you want one, I don't know, but people seem to worry too much about their blood pressure and want to check it all the time. So anyway, how accurate it is, that's an interesting thing, because there's nothing against which to calibrate or compare it. So they can do what they like with it, but it was fun and games pulling that apart and fixing it. Keeps me busy, as they say, but it put the round chewit pile back another half day. Does it always annoy you? GW4PUC, GHJAC.
GHJAC, GW4PUC, yeah, well, yeah, keeping your fingers busy there, Andy, and yes, it's great to hear actually that people actually do repair things these days, because again these days it's a throwaway society, isn't it? And I hate that. Excuse me. Yeah, I may not be able to repair much, but I certainly have a look. Always have a look at see what you can do. And yeah, we use a blood pressure monitor. Mary has a problem. One of her problems is blood pressure, and that can fluctuate alarmingly and gets very, very high sometimes. So we monitor it regularly with one of those DP monitors. Yeah. PCBs, I picked up some nice PCB material yesterday. I have a little source of PCB material locally where it gets thrown out, scraps, you know. But the scrap died yesterday, 3 large pieces, the largest being about 3 foot by 18 inches, and a spanking new PCB board. One a little bit smaller and one a bit smaller than that, but all of them were what I'd normally call large, but one extremely large. So I'll keep me going for a long while. Well, I shared it with a mate of mine actually, another ham locally here, and I'll just take him some up there. And it's a single-sided as well, which is what I use. I don't use double-sided, so I've got stacks of that I've had over the years. I could keep the army going, I think, in that, but the single-sided is not so much used now, I think, commercially. So whatever they've got, I call in, you know, every couple of months or 3 or 4 months and have a look, you know, and what they've got, they'll pass in, because they only throw it away. I used to get it from their bins out the back of the workshop years ago, for many years, but then they got new bins and they started locking them at night, so that was it. So I went in and just asked them if I could, you know, and it was fine, yeah, no problem. And because somebody who was there before told me at one stage that they didn't scrap it anymore, they sent it in for recycling. And but when I spoke to somebody then 2 or 3 years ago now, they said, no, we don't do that, it's just scrap. They said, you can have it. So I've filled my boots ever since. Anyway, there we are. Comes in handy. Okay, over to John, G4LRG from GW4PUC, right?
GW4PUC, G4LRG returning. Okay, Ray, and listening with interest. Gordon, of course, has been and gone. He was 5 and 9. Brian, Golf Zero Bravo, Fox Juliet, 5 and 9. John, M3VRV, 5 and 7. Those are via Stafford Direct. Only 2 half-east ones. Your 5 and 5 Direct, Ray, and the other good signal is Brian, 5-7 to 5-9. Perfectly good copy Direct. So there we go. And yeah, listening with interest. Well done on sorting out the blood pressure monitor there, Andy. I think we've all got a junk box of sorts. Well, I certainly have. And if you think it's going to be used sometime and goes in, sooner or later you go hunting for something and you think, there it is. And we'd be lost without it. I could, of course, have a lot more space in the garage without it, but it doesn't work like that. There we go. Listening around last night, 40 metres SSB, Victor Kilo 7. I didn't speak on, I've worked him before, but on SSB, very good signal. He's a fairly regular guy that pops up. What else did I scribble down? Oh, that was for Gordon. He asked about me going down there. We'll be down in Brighton, July, August, at some stage or other, visiting family, so maybe we will hook up with Gordon down there. I might even persuade him to talk on 2 metres for a point. Other than that, not a great deal else to add at the moment, but interesting stuff, Ray. GW4PUC, G4LRG.
G4LRG, GW4PUC. Okay, there's John. And yeah, it would be nice to get down there and meet up, wouldn't it? I'd love to do that, but I'm too far away from everybody. No, we don't travel a lot these days, but it was a nice thing to do, to actually meet somebody and shake hands and have a cup of tea, wouldn't it, or a pint? Well, anyway, okay, yeah, Gordon went at 10:25, so there we are. M3VRB from GW4PUC. Over to you, John, right?
GW4PUC, M3VRB return. Good morning to John, LRG, Andy, I think that was Gordon, AWJ, not quite sure. But Brian Reader, good morning to yourselves there as well. And the other Brian, BSJ, it's probably spelled with an I. Did like to think about the RES there on that one there, Ray. It made me chuckle. It's like things that's being chucked away nowadays for recycling. People go and recycle their PCs and all that. All they're actually doing is we're sending their junk to India to pollute their country rather than pollute our own. That's a pretty cool statement. I should be a bit shocked for that one. Sorry, John, LRG. But Andy, as for the blood pressure thing, the monitor, well, have you ever considered that the patient could be deceased? I don't know. That's the way my mind works. No, we are in the society by it, breaks down, suck it away. Something happens to us, so we've got them knocked over. No picture. There we go. Ready for the scrap man, chucked to India, pollute their water, and there we go. That's what we do to the world. Rather than melt it down, burn it up like we do with other stuff. If there's something different then, my apologies. The cat has been annoying me. I've been up all night. It's meant to go to work, so I changed to select a different frequency, and that got rid of that problem. But obviously, if we were hearing their baby alarms, they were hearing ours as well, which is rather disconcerting. Sitting in the house nattering away and thinking somebody else is listening from GM8UPI.
Yeah, MW0BGQ. Well, that's just come to the fore, really, with this latest lot of leaks from the United States, isn't it? People with these Alexa devices and TV or anything that's hooked up to the web with a microphone. As I've always said, I've said to people who've got these things, Echo and Alexa, I said, you're bugging your own house, you know. So, but that's the same sort of thing, really, on a much more sophisticated scale. A lot of those baby alarms worked on 49 megs, I think some of them did, didn't they? I seem to remember something about that, them being on 49. Not having any babies. I never bought any baby alarms, but I think some were on 49 megs anyway. Very useful for people, though. But you've got to be very careful when you put any basically transmitting equipment in your house that you're not activating it. I mean, I've heard people who've, and I've almost done it myself, you know, once or twice, you press the Vox button by mistake, and all of a sudden, every time you sneeze, you're going out, over.
Compresseur sur le transceiver. Là. Voilà, là j'ai enlevé le compresseur sur le transceiver.
Alright, that's I managed to take the battery cover off and I've put 4 new batteries in.
Oui, Pascal. Les tuyaux, dans les vitamines, un peu. Je vais mettre un...
I don't know what state these batteries in. I've just taken in. I must get my voltmeter out. I hate throwing out good batteries. Dear oh dear. Like you, Dave, I only use the Duracell ones. I find some of the other ones are all right for some things, but the Duracell ones are always the most reliable. Jamie UPI.
MW0BGQ. There have been some fake Duracell industrials sold on the web, and I bought some, and they were no good at all. They just look like the real thing, but they didn't last 5 minutes. But I tend to buy the Duracell Ultras, what they are, from Tesco's. At least you're pretty sure you're getting the real thing. And like you, that's all I use. They're the only ones you can rely on, really. I've got them in the little weather station. And cause I bought a new weather station when we came here because I kept fixing the other one, and it was becoming a full-time job to fix it, you know. So eventually that had to be slung away, and got this new one. I think I got it from Waters and Stanton or somebody, I can't remember now. Got it a year or so back anyway. I only put the good ones in there because you don't want to be clambering around into some of these devices, putting new batteries in it all the time, do you? And yesterday, strangely enough, I've got one of those Daytong Morse tutors, which I try and keep myself up to date with the Morse with every so often. And I realised I got a is it a PP9, the little square, is it a PP3, something like that, PP3 I think, small batteries in that, and I thought, well, that battery's been in there for probably a few years now. I better take it out and chuck it away before it starts to go manky. So I've done that, and I should have to get another one for the Morse tutor. But it's a great fun thing, that Morse tutor. I play with it all the bloody time. It just shows how sad I am. MW0BGQ.
MW0BGQ, Jamie UPI. Yeah, you're taking me back a bit. Daytong Morse tutor. I had one, or at least I had one on loan for a while when I was trying to learn Morse. But that was, I think the Daytong Morse tutor came out in the 70s. Maybe it was the 70s, or it might have been the 80s. I certainly had one on loan when I was first licensed in 79. Got it from a licensed friend of mine on loan, and that was Ian, who sadly killed himself in a car crash in late 1981. That was a sad time, losing him. He was a good friend, and it was because of his demise that I ended up with a job of looking after the Royal Navy, and indeed getting involved in the South Atlantic. If it hadn't been for his accident, then it would have been him it was down there, Dave. Go ahead.
MW0BGQ, very sad affair, isn't it, when you lose people like that prematurely? We've all known that, of course, in our lives, but it is very sad business. And I've had to do that a few times, you know, and deal with people's widows and children and goodness knows what, you know, and deal with their property, and it's a horrible thing, actually. A bit of a chum of mine from Sky phoned a couple of days ago, and he was, well, did I tell you, we remember 2 Crash? Remember me telling you about 2 Crash, over?
I do recall that story, Dave. Go ahead.
MW0BGQ. Well, his son moved to Sky, and he's a retired, what do they call it? Battery Sergeant Major he was, in some sort of artillery. It'd be the artillery, wouldn't it? He was a Battery Sergeant Major. I mean, I presume he's the guy who handed out the Duracells, I don't know. But anyway, he got Gulf War syndrome. He's in a pretty poor state. But, of course, he phoned up for an hour or so day before yesterday. I had a long chat with him. He's quite a chum of mine, really. I hadn't heard from him for a while. And, he was saying about how, as the Sergeant Major, when they got blokes shot up in Iraq or Bosnia or wherever it was, he went to all these theatres of war. Of course, he used to have to sort out their stuff and do all that kind of work, and he said, there are some things that you make sure that the families don't get to know about.
Yeah, Jamie at UPI. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I haven't had that problem. When Ian died, he wasn't married. He had lots of girlfriends, mind you, Chai, but he wasn't married, and he was from Scotland. He was a Scotsman. He was part of the team when we were based at the Royal Aircraft Establishment at Bedford, and he didn't have any close family. Well, he did. His parents were still alive, and he had a brother. And it was his brother that came down and looked after his stuff. He had a house in Bedford, and a lot of radio gear as well. Some of which was quite new at the time. It was state-of-the-art stuff that he had, and that was in 1981. He had just bought a new HF transceiver just a month or two before his accident, and it was his brother who took care of. His brother knew nothing at all about amateur radio and so on. And I know the Bedford club that Ian was a member of, and I used to go occasionally, the club members volunteered to look after Ian's stuff and get it sold at a good price and so on, but no, Ian's brother wouldn't have any of it. He just packed it all up in boxes and basically gave it all away to whoever wanted it, which was very sad. But anyway, not to worry. Yeah, the only other thing I've done, another friend of mine who wasn't a licensed amateur, he died about a year ago. A good friend of mine. Again, he wasn't married. But he had his own house in Edinburgh, and he had a good friend of his who looked after the estate and so on. Grant had left a will, and in this will there was some big boxes of stuff that were earmarked to come to me. Would you believe? So I've got these here. I did have a quick look at them when this guy's friend delivered them to the house in Edinburgh. Had a quick look and so on. There's some quite good stuff in there, test gear and so on. And but as I say, it's still in boxes here at the moment. That's about 4 of the 100 boxes I've still got to unpack, Dave. MW0BGQ GM8 UPI.
Yeah, MW0BGQ. When 2 Crash died, of course, he was Mike 3 Golf Romeo Foxtrot. I've got him. He was interested in radio always, and knowing me as an amateur, he worked for the MOD, knowing me as an amateur radio guy, we got to know each other, of course. I encouraged him. He was very keen on it. He had his foundation license. He was very keen indeed. Anyway, he died. He became ill and died, and he left me all his amateur radio kit in his will. If you remember, you looked at the TS50. Do you remember that? That was one of his. It's up here on the bolted under the shelf here as a standby radio. That was one of them. Another one was a very fancy Kenwood radio. There was a walkie-talkie and so on. And I said to his son, who lives on Sky. I said, well, you know, really, you should have this stuff because you might get an interest in radio. And so he said, well, I know all of it. He said, you choose a radio you want. So I just took the TS50, which was the oldest radio he'd got, you know. And I've got that here. But another reason he phoned me was to say, look, you've got to come and pick this radio stuff up, the rest of it, next time you're in Scotland. He said, because I don't want it, I'll never use it. So I'm going to pick up some more another Kenwood HF set. I don't know what it is. It's got a detachable front, I know that. But anyway, I can't remember what it is, but I'll pick it up in the next year or so, I suppose. Or if you go to Sky, you can pick it up for me, Dave, and have a look at it and play with it. I think that'd be the best thing. When you go up there, I'll get you to meet Billy, and you can take it off his hands, Dave. That'd be the best thing, I think. And another one, of course, when my mate who lived with a neighbour on Sky, Jeff, was a cracking bloke, Jeff Holman. He died in 2008. I was working in London, unfortunately, for most of the year when he died. But I speak to him regularly. He got worse and worse, poor Jeff. And he left me a scanner, two scanners, which I've got here, and his binoculars, if you remember. Remember those fancy Nikon binoculars he paid 1,300 quid for? He left me his binoculars and his radio kit, David.
Yeah, from Jeremy UPI. Yeah, I can remember those binoculars. Yeah, lovely pieces of kit, Dave. But yeah, okay, on the other stuff and so on. Well, as I say, I'll probably not be up in Sky until late August, early September, I think. We're still hoping the family from Canada are going to come over, and hopefully they'll be here the last 2 weeks in August, and then after they've departed, hopefully I'll set off to Sky with the caravan in tow. So that'll be September time. Unfortunately, it'll coincide, well, fortunately in some ways, it'll coincide with Ali and Norma going away. They normally go away last week in August, first week in September, I think, for their 2 weeks jaunt over to the continent. And it works out quite well, actually, when I'm there. And certainly last year I was there at the time they were away, and I think they were quite pleased that I was on site, you know, to look after anything that would crop up that the wardens weren't familiar with. So it looks like from a timescale point of view that I'll probably be in the same sort of position this coming autumn day from GM8UPI.
Yeah, MW0BC, I bet they'll be grateful for your presence there, Dave. I mean, they know if you're there, it's in safe hands, don't they? That's the bottom line on it. And you can sort anything out and deal with any problems without them being concerned that that things aren't getting done. I'm sure they'll be pleased to have you there. Yeah, well, when you go up there, I'll give you Billy's details, and I'll tell him that you'll be going to pick up this Kenwood, and you can play with it and have a look at it and see what you make of it. And all the other kit that's there, there's a fair bit. A box full of stuff anyway, I'd say. And that'd be a good idea, actually. I'll get you to do that if you don't mind, and at some stage we'll hook up. Because you're only 4 hours away from me, you see. So when you get back, I can come and see you, and you're a 4-hour drive, Dave. I can get back in a day after seeing it. It's not like it used to be, where it used to be 3.5 hours to Inverness, wasn't it? But yeah, poor Jeff, he was a great guy. Well, so was old Two Crash, of course. They were both good friends of mine. I lost a lot of good friends in 2008. Golf 6 November Bravo, he died. I couldn't go to his funeral because I was the only person basically running the operation in London. I was the only person doing the stuff in London for a year. And I lost a chap called Colin Perrin, who was a mate from near Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire. He died as well. And I couldn't go to any of their funerals, you know. It was awful. I felt very bad about that, but somebody had to look after the stuff we were doing, you know. It was rather important, so I just couldn't go. Anyway, there we go. So what I'll do, Dave, as I say, when you go up to Sky, I'll give you Billy's address, I'll liaise with him, and you can pick up this stuff, have a look at it, play with it, and see what you make of it, Dave, will it?
Yes, okay, Dave, from GM8UPI. Yeah, no problem. We'll organise that nearer the time. Yeah, fine, Dave. Right, okay, I better shut up. I think Ruth may be home. She's took her sister up to Moffat to catch the bus, and well, she should be on her way back now, so I'm expecting her to arrive in the next
15-20 minutes, so I don't want her to come home and find I'm still chatting away on the radio, because I was in the Radio Shack when she left, and she'll know then I haven't done anything on the list of things to do each hour. So I better call it a day for the moment, I think, and get on with the other task, Dave. Anyway, nice having the chat. We'll catch you again, and hopefully we'll maybe catch Ali next weekend. He's in Spain at the moment. I'm not quite sure when he comes back, but we'll maybe catch Ali on the air next weekend, Dave. Although I think did you say you were away at the weekend, from GM8UPI?
I'm away this weekend to Buckinghamshire. The following weekend I'll be at home, so do ping me, because this weekend, the following weekend I'll be at home. So give me an SMS, text message or something, with a frequency, and if I'm anywhere near the house, I'll rush back and come on air. Huh?
Yeah, okay. From GM8UPI. Yeah, fine, Dave. Okay.
Parle dans le micro. Bon, je l'ai éloigné encore un peu. Bon. Peut mieux faire.
Straight up. And that did produce instant ionosphere. Oh dear. And obviously only governments can afford to do that.
Yeah. So
you are, yes, you're 5 and 9 down here, no problem at all. John, M3VRB, again, he disappeared almost. He came up out of the noise, and I could hear a good few words and then disappeared again. John, you're going to have to bite the bullet, mate. Go and get a full license, and then you can whack out 400 watts with the rest of us, legally. And that will improve things, no doubt. Might cause you one or two problems with your neighbours or whatever, but by then you'll know how to sort them out. So I think that's the answer anyway. If you're passing around with 10 watts, life is always going to be difficult. It's an achievement, but it's still going to be difficult. Back to you, Ray, GW4PUC and the gang G8JAC.
G8JAC, GW4PUC, Royal Signals. Okay, Andy, an interesting that about the instant ionosphere. I've never heard that before, to be honest with you. So, where there's a willy, there's a way, as the actress said to the bishop. Anyway, interesting stuff. And, it's a problem with John. I'm sorry he's not getting out too well there, but I miss old John's voice there, Quite distinctive voice there, John. We always know who you are, mate. Okay, down to John G4LRG then, up in Bishop there. G4LRG, GW4PUC, alright.
GW4PUC, G4LRG returning. Okay, Ray, and good morning to the joiners. Bill, G8, Charlie Yankee Kilo, 5 and 9. Nice to hear you again there, Bill. And Sam, also 5 and 9. That's both direct and via Stafford. No problem at all. And thanks for the comments on the wire. It took a while to get it in there, but at least we got a mention. But the thing is, Ray, it's primarily for serving members. I mean, it would be nice to hook a few serving members who are interested in radio. Only time will tell. But because it's now available in an e-wire format, you don't have to pay for it. You can get it online, and there's usually some interesting stuff in the Royal Signals Association pages, of which I'm a member as well. So